चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंदा की जय।
जय
राधा कृष्ण गोपी गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिर गोवर्धन की जय।
जय
वृंदावन धाम की जय, मथुरा
जय
धाम की जय, सुधा मापुर धाम की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय,
जय
भक्ति देवी की जय, गंगा
जय
यमुना माई की जय,
जय
वेद भक्त वृंदा की जय,
जय
निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि
हरि
हरि।
हरि बोल।
All glories to the assembled devotees.
हरे
All
कृष्णा
glories to the assembled devotees.
हरे
All
कृष्णा
glories to the assembled devotees. All praise
हरे
to
कृष्णा
Guru and Gauranga.
हरे हरि
Shubhada Krishna Krishna Bhutta Smriti Krishna Rasa Nami. Shubhada Krishna Krishna Smriti Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nami. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine. Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Prasithadi Satarine. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 10, Text 24. Astaruru hatustasya nana karma chikirsaya tayotu balavan indra adanam ubhayasrayam. Astaruru hatotasya nana karma chikirsaya tayotu balavan indra udhanam udayasrayam. Astaruruhatustasya nana karma chikirshaya tayotu balavan indra adanam ubayasrayam. Devotees, please repeat.
हस्तौरुरुहतस्तस्य नानाकर्मचिकीर्षया तयोस्तु बलवान् इन्द्र आदानम् उभयाश्रयम्। हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna.
Go ahead, Mataji, go ahead.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी।
Hare Krishna.
हस्तौरुरोहतस्तस्य नानाकर्मचिकीर्षया तयोस्तु बलवान् इन्द्र आदानम् उभयाश्रयम्। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Astaruruha hatastasya nana karma chikirshaya tayastu balavana indra adana mubhayasrayam. Hare Krishna.
हस्तौरुरुहतुस्तस्य नानाकर्मचिकीर्षया तयोस्तु बलवान् इन्द्र आदानम् उभयाश्रयम्।
Okay. Word to word translation. Ashta, the hands. Ruruhatu, manifested. Tasya, his. Nana, various. Karma, work. Chikirsaya, being so desirous. Tayo, of them. Two, however. Balavan, to give strength. Indra, the demigod in heaven. Adanam, activities of the hand. Ubhaya Ashrayam, dependent on both the demigod and the hand. Translation by Divine Grace S. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Thereafter, when the Supreme Person desired to perform varieties of work, the two hands and the controlling strength, and Indra, the demigod in heaven, became manifested, as also the acts dependent on both the hands and the demigod perform. In every item, we can note with profit that the sense organ of the living entity are never independent of any stage. The Lord is known as the Lord of the senses, Rishikesh. Thus, the sense or organs of the living entities are manifested by the will of the Lord, and each organ is controlled by certain type of demigod. No one therefore can claim any proprietorship of the senses. The living entity is controlled by the senses. The senses are controlled by the demigods, and the demigods are the servant of the Supreme Lord. That is the arrangement in the system of creation. The whole thing is controlled ultimately by the Supreme Lord, and there is no independence either of the material nature or the living entity. The illusion living entity who claims to be the Lord of his senses is under the clutches of the external energy of the Lord. As long as the living entity continues to be puffed by the tiny existence, he is to be understood to be under the stringent control of the external energy of the Lord. There is no question of liberation from the clutches of illusion, Maya. However much one may declare himself a liberated soul. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Padantikam. Vandeham Sri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Guru Yasamanja Sri Guru Vaisavanja Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahatana Lalita Sri Vashatam Vitamja. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shyamakunda Radha Kungir Govardhan Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So, in this verse, what stuck to me is that Krishna, is talking about creation to Lord Brahma. So Krishna created everything. Everything comes from Krishna. In this particular purport, we're talking about the senses. Even the senses is created by Krishna. And the senses, they're created by Krishna, and Krishna is the only proprietor of all the senses. Everything that in this material world, like you see, Aham Sarvasya Prabhu Mata Sarvam Prabhatati. Everything that it exists in this material world comes from Krishna. Nothing is independent of Krishna. Nothing is separate from Krishna. Even our own body, this material body, the material senses, everything is the creation of the Lord. And the senses, like in this purport, he said, is controlled. Each sense is controlled by different demigods. And the demigod also are not independent of Krishna. They are servant of Krishna. They're just fulfilling they're doing the service to the Lord, by controlling the senses of all living entities. So nothing is independent of Krishna. So, and the senses is very, very important part, because everybody, is using the senses for different activities. Without the senses, we cannot we cannot exist, we have to use each and every senses in order to function in this material world, but that Krishna has said that I am Rishikesh, the Lord of the senses. He's proprietor of all the senses. So all our senses are meant, to please Krishna. They're not meant, for our own sense gratification. But unfortunately, most of the living entities, they use the senses for their own, just to satisfy their own sense gratification, their own pleasure, instead of, using the senses just to satisfy the Lord. So in this one, and according to, we have 5 working senses. Is it called karmendriya? Karmendriya. And what are the 5 working senses? Anybody knows? Five working senses.
2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 mouth.
Yeah, these are the knowledge acquiring senses, called Gyanendriya. Working senses are the speech, the hands, the feet, the anus, and the genitals. This is the working senses. And the 5 knowledge acquiring senses are called Gyanendriya. They are the eyes, like Mataji was telling, the eyes, the ears, the nose, the tongue, the skin, and everything is the creation of the Lord ultimately, and the mind is the center of all the senses. And and they're all created by the 5, what called, the 5, elements of this material world is fire, earth, water, air, and ether. It's actually, it says that the form that we see is created by fire, and the taste is water, and the smell is the earth, and the touch is the air, and the sound is the ether. So this material body is called Kshetra, according to Bhagavad Gita said in 6 and 7. A Kshetra, is a material body is called Kshetra. And in each material body, we have so many senses, and each of the senses are controlled by different demigods, and there's so many demigods like Chandra, Indra. In this verse is called about Indra. Indra controls certain senses, and also Indra, Chandra, the moon god, the sun god, like in order for us, one example is there for the sight, in order for us to see, and we need the demigod, Surya, the sun god is control the sight. And in this way, each and every part of the body is controlled by different demigods. But that doesn't mean that the demigod are the supreme. They are not the supreme. They are servant of the Lord. Ultimately, Krishna is a creator of all the senses. And also he said that he owns the senses, and we have to use all our senses in the service of the Lord in order to purify them. Now, being in this material world, they're contaminated because we are trying to enjoy separate from Krishna, and only by using our senses in the service of Krishna, then we can purify them. And also he said, and unless we use our senses in the service of Krishna, we cannot know Krishna. We cannot understand the form, the quality, the pastime, which are all the absolute platform. With our material, we cannot approach Krishna with our goal in Krishna consciousness movement is to know Krishna, to approach Krishna. But we have to purify. That's why the process of bhakti yoga is given to us, by purifying the senses, by engaging in the 9 processes of devotional service. Shavanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Nachanam, Vandanam. Sakyam Dasha Atmani Vedana. So by that step by step, just by Shravanam and Kirtanam, most important, we can purify our senses. That's what Srila Prabhupada and all the Acharyas said, and Krishna also said, only by engaging our senses in in hearing and chanting, regularly about Krishna, we can understand Krishna. We can serve Krishna. And there's a nice verse, Nectar of Devotion. Atasi Krishna Namadi, na bhavet grayam indriyai, it talks about the senses. Seva mukhe hi jivado swayam eva spurati adha. Because the form, qualities, and pastime on the absolute platform, material senses cannot appreciate them. When the conditioned soul renders service unto the Supreme, then his love for the Supreme is awakened to Krishna. Then that's why, in order for us to purify our senses, like yesterday we have this daily worship seminar, how they're telling, by engaging regularly in daily worship, we become regulated, we become clean. And this way, and internally also, by touching the form of the Lord, by decorating the Lord, by seeing the beautiful form of the Lord, by offering, arti, beautiful flowers, beautiful footsteps, in which we constantly engage. That's why, we should not take it lightly. We should take it seriously, that all these processes are given by the acharyas, by Srila Prabhupada, for us for a reason. And because in this way we can constantly remember Krishna, we can serve Krishna. So in order to, to really, if we're really interested, if we really desire to know Krishna, so we have to engage all our senses in Krishna's service. Hearing, chanting, serving the deities, like cooking for the deities. Whatever we do, yet Karosi, yet Anasi, whatever you do, you have to be done as an offering to Krishna. In this way, eventually, we can understand some of the qualities of Krishna. Also, another verse, talk about as the Lord is a, Sarvapyadi Vinirmuktam Tatparat Vena Nirmalam Rishikena Rishikesha Shevanam Bhakti Uchati. Bhakti or devotional service means engage all senses in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the master of all senses. When the conditioned soul renders service unto the Supreme, there are 2 side effects. One is, what happened? When we render service, what happened? One is free from all material designation, and all the senses are purified. So again and again, like it is said, like how we had to control the senses in order to at least come to the point of try to understand, have a glimpse who Krishna is, and ultimately the love of Godhead. So we all aspiring, to be with Krishna and to be in an association of Krishna. So also in our daily activities, we have to implement these processes, giving the hearing and chanting, worshiping the deities, or and doing everything that we do, we can to purify our senses. And there's a nice verse in 261. He said, one who restrains his senses, uh, it's Bhagavad Gita 261. One who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control, and fixes his consciousness upon me is known as a man of steady intelligence. So the purport of this is very, very interesting. Prabhupada talk about Durvasa Muni and Maharaj Ambarish. So I'm going to read that that the highest conception of yoga perfection is Krishna consciousness is clearly explained in this verse. And unless one is Krishna conscious, it is not at all possible to control the senses. As cited above, the great sage Durvasa took a quarrel with Maharaj Ambarish. And Durvasa Muni unnecessarily became angry out of pride, therefore could not check his senses. On the other hand, the king, also not as powerful as a yogi, as a sage, but a devotee of the Lord, silently tolerated all the sages' injustice and thereby emerged victorious. The king was able to control his senses because of the following qualification. What are the following qualification? Is Savai Krishna, Savai Mana Krishna Padaravindayo, Vachami Vaikunta Gunanu Varnane, Karo Hare Mandira Marjanadisu Shrutim Chakarai Chuta Sat Katodaye, Mukunda Ling Galaye Darshane Drotad Brita Gata Sparsena Sangamam Griham Chatat Pada Sarojaso Rabe Srimad Tulasya Rasanam Tat Arpit Pado Hare Kshetra Padanu Sarpane Siro Rishikesha Pada Bhivandane Kamam Chadasye Natu Kamaya Yatotma Sloka Janasvayara. King Ambarish fixed his mind on the lotus feet of the Lord, and gave his word in describing the abode of the Lord. What does he use his hand for? King Ambarish? Anybody remember him? So King Ambarish, he used his hand in cleansing the temple of the Lord, his ears in hearing the pastime of the Lord. That's how we have to use our senses, following the example of King Ambarish. His eyes in seeing the form of the Lord, his body in touching the body of the devotee, his nostril in smelling the flavor of the flowers offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, his tongue in tasting the tulasi leaves offered to him, his leg in traveling to the holy place where his temple is situated, his head in offering obeisances unto the Lord, and his desires in fulfilling the desires of the Lord, and all that qualification made him fit to become Matpara, devotee of the Lord. The word Matpara is most significant in this connection. How one can become Matpara is described in the life of Maharaj Ambarish. Srila Baladev Vidyabhus, a great scholar of Acharya in the line of Matpara. Mad Bhakti Prabhavena Sarvenduya Vijaya Purvika Swatma Dristi Sulabati Bhave. The senses can be completely controlled only by the strength of devotional service. Again and again, we can say only by rendering devotional service, we can control the senses. It's very, very difficult to control the senses. So we have to, constantly endeavor, make some effort to, to control the senses by following the example of great acharya, great devotees. So the good association is very important. It's very easy to control your senses when you're in good association. But sometimes you're put in certain situation where it's very difficult, even due to social pressure, due to so many other peer pressure, we it's very difficult, for us to control our senses, how we want to. That's why we always have to stay in the association of devotee and always chanting the holy name so that we can take the holy name everywhere, even in most difficult, filthy, bad association. you know, we still can take the holy name with us. That's why internally have to constantly, like chant the holy name of the Lord to purify us, just to make us free from the contamination of this material world. So in this way, we can remember Krishna, constantly by the process of devotional service. Like you say, only by devotional service, we can remember, we can control our senses. And also the example of fire is sometimes given. As a blazing fire burn everything within a room, Lord Vishnu, situated in the heart of a yogi, burn up all kinds of impurities. So we're constantly being, under the mode of, under the free mode of material nature, mode of passion, mostly more passion and ignorance of most of the living entities, you know. But the devotees, sometimes we get into the mode of passion and ignorance because we're always trying to remember Krishna, the Krishna who's within their heart, like he just in this said, you say that, Lord Vishnu, situated in the heart, Krishna within our heart will really, help us, and put us in situation when we can remember him and we can burn up all the impure things that surrounded us. The Yoga Sutra also prescribes meditation on Vishnu and not meditation on the void. The so-called yogi who meditate on something other than Vishnu form simply waste their time in vain search after some phantasmagoria. We have to be Krishna conscious, devoted to the personality of Godhead. This is the aim of real yoga. Yoga, like we practice yoga. Yeah, what yoga mean? By yoga mean to link yourself with the super soul, to connect yourself with the super soul. It's not that the gymnastic yoga that people are doing, This way we cannot control, maybe we can get a fit body, everything. A fit body also is important for us to render devotional service. So the goal is to ultimately, like always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. Always be in association of Krishna, you know. And we should all constantly play to the super soul, Like you said, Lord Vishnu is very, 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 very merciful because he's always with us. But unfortunately, because we are so covered by the glare of material sense gratification, by the glare, we cannot, we cannot feel that Krishna is within us. We cannot remember even that Krishna is within us. It's amazing, like personally, I don't remember that Krishna is always within me, Sometimes we just act according to what the, with material energy. We don't act, like think that, okay, Krishna is within us. Krishna can purify us and Krishna can make us control our senses. That way it was very, very important, to adapt to the process of devotion and healing and chanting. If we stop chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra and we stop eating prasadam and we stop hearing about Krishna, our mind will definitely become, because the mind is the master of all the senses, our mind will really get polluted. So somehow or other, we have to, make the right choice. And Krishna within the heart, as Paramatma, will always, you know, will always help us to reach our goal. to, to make us able to control our senses. So we always have to be rendering some kind of devotional service in our day-to-day activities. I know we cannot do everything, but at least the hearing and chanting, nobody can take this away. Nobody can say we can hear and chant about Krishna. You know, it's just we have to develop this intense desire, to be able to always hear and chant about Krishna. And uh, and also in Bhagavad Gita, I was listening to Vidyavali and was a Subharade's guru on this class he was giving, and he mentioned, this verse, about 5 Bhagavad Gita 5:8 and 9:10. I'm just going to read that. It just talk about the senses, some 5:8. You see, a person, then I think Vasishka Prabhu, he he talked about, a little bit. He mentioned about this verse. He said, a person in the divine consciousness also engage in seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, moving, about sleeping and breathing, always knows within himself that it actually does nothing at all. Because all speaking, evacuating, receiving, or opening or closing his eyes, we always know that the only material senses are engaged with the objects, and that he is aloof from that. That is definitely above, the it's not, it's for pure devotees, that they don't know, the consciousness become divine, like divine consciousness. But he always seeing, hearing and touching, whatever he's doing is in connection with Krishna. And he understands that everything that's happening, and he become aloof from all this, the sense object. And also, number 7 say, one who works in devotion with a pure soul, control his mind and senses, is dear to everyone. Anyone who is dear to him, though always working, such a man never entangle. And 11 it says, a yogi abandon attachment, act with body, mind, intelligence, even with the senses, only for the purpose of purification. Again and again, in so many places, we have, we have to purify our consciousness, our senses. So what are we doing in our day-to-day activities to purify our consciousness? Everybody can share something that they do on a daily basis without fail, to purify the senses.
One thing is the chanting.
The chanting, okay.
And
Yeah, chanting purify. Cheto darpana marjanam, to cleanse our mind all, and the mirror of the mind is contaminated. And then anybody else?
Whatever we do, put Krishna in the center.
Yeah, of course, whatever we do, we put Krishna in the center. And also, what we do, like every day, like we know that we need to purify our senses, our consciousness. I know everybody chant and everything. Anything else?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah.
What I do in the morning, I do some contemplation. I remind myself that purification of mind is important, being in mode of goodness is important, and glorification of Krishna. I remind myself, remember Krishna, whatever I do during daytime. It helps me remember Krishna during daytime. So in the morning, I maybe 15, 20 minutes, I do some contemplation.
Yeah. Actually,
And we cook nice prasadam for Krishna.
Kurma Prasadam for Krishna, yeah.
I was
Yeah,
trained.
because,
I was trained that when we first wake up in the morning, the first thing we do is offer obeisances to Srila Prabhupada, to our guru. And the last thing we do at night before we go to sleep is pay our obeisances to Srila Prabhupada or our guru. So that's our meditation. As soon as we wake up, it
yeah,
goes to paying obeisances. And the last thing we do at night is pay our obeisances.
yes.
Yeah.
That's, remembering that, offering respect to the Guru. Without the Guru, we cannot get Krishna. We cannot get any knowledge.
That's right. Yeah.
Guru
Guru's
is
mercy,
like Krishna.
all that we are made of. That's it, is his mercy. That's all we're made of.
Yeah, without Guru, we don't get anything. That's why
Guru
we
is like
have
Krishna
to
only.
offer obeisances. For
Yes.
everything that we do, we have to remember,
Mm.
our Guru, because without, Om Jnana Timanandasya, they open our eyes. They were filled with ignorance, Om Jnana. Yeah, thank you very much for sharing, Mother Sangita. I don't know if you like that.
And I also say this Ata Sri Krishna Namadi, that shloka in the morning. As soon as I get up, I do say that shloka.
What sloka?
Ata Sri Krishna Namadi na
Yeah,
bhavet graham
Nabhavet Gaya Vidyana Sevamukhi Jivado, yeah.
Swami Spuratyada.
Yeah.
That glorifying Krishna is nicely.
Yeah, only if I remember Krishna, like he say, the famous verse 7:14 of Bhagavad Gita, he say this Devi Sakuna Maya Mama Maya Duratya Mam Eva Ye Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. Say the divine energy of mind consisting of the free mode of matter is very difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. So somehow or other we all like affected by the free, by the free modes of material nature. And even we've been practicing, we've been chanting and we're doing so many devotional service. Still, unless you become pure consciousness, you always be affected by the free mode of nature. Because sometimes we got lazy, sometimes we got angry, we can, sometimes we overeat. We overeat, sometimes we just, want to do something with not Krishna consciousness. So all this, just to our conditioning for so many lifetimes. We keep on, not fully engaging all our senses, like we say 24 hours, like become, So it's a gradual process. We are on the path. How long will we so follow Shri Prabhupada and you keep doing chanting and hearing and somehow or other put ourselves in association of devotee. One day we reach to that level, pure consciousness, where we can always use all our senses only for the pleasure of Krishna, only to please Krishna. And anybody have any point? Want to discuss more about this verse? Want to add anything?
The sloka in chapter 5, like there are many good slokas. One says that sloka that to
Yeah.
show them mercy, I destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance.
8, 9, 10, they're all talking about,
Yeah, that, yeah.
there's the sentence. Like 11 also talk about even with the senses. He says they abandoning all attachment, act with body, mind, intelligence, and even with the senses only for the purpose of purification. So the process of purification, like is a constant endeavor, for all living entities. You know, you can be in Krishna consciousness for so many years and so many, but still we have to constantly try to purify the senses. It's not like, we always, like being, overcome by the primordial material nature. So purifying the senses is very important to understand Krishna. Only the process of devotional service. Thank you. Anybody, if we don't have anything, I would like to uh, end the class today. And because today I have to travel.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I just want to say I enjoyed your class very much. Everything you explained in a very simple way, and they are very important also. So easy to do our bhakti. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you, Mother Golokananda Mataji. Like Mother Suman said, simple but very important. Most important thing we need to do is develop our love for Krishna, and devotional service is the path. Since yesterday, I think that's what we've been hearing. Devotional service is the way.
Yeah. Somehow that we have to always engage
Yes.
in devotional service. So like, like you say, when you do service, you automatically remember Krishna.
Mm.
You automatically do.
You do a lot of
Even sometimes, we people do that for name and fame just to show off. And still, because it is connected with Krishna, somehow they get some purification is there.
you go to close to Krishna and you do a lot of service, Mataji.
Yeah, we all doing service in our own way, you know. Like we all coming like this service and Mother Subharadi do every day, like she has to be there for Srimad Bhagavatam and put the verses and everything so that whoever wants to hear about Srimad Bhagavatam can hear. So that's also a nice service, enable us to hear about the holy name.
Yeah.
You have to be, it's very consistent service. And she's sending every to all the devotees what verse they had to, what day, and this engaging her in the process of devotional service. And was a Vidyavali, you're always like eager, no matter who gave class, you're always there, you don't choose. And yes, this one,
I love to listen to the class every day.
yeah, you hear every day,
How much I'm grasping, that is
and was
Krishna
so
knows.
hard, she has been long term, like
Yeah, we both are there.
she love hearing Bhagavatam all the time, she's in class and and she always try to discuss now. From the time I know her, but now I can see because she's been hearing for so long, now she has so much, she's understanding more the scripture and she can comment on different, whatever she has
No,
been
thank
using.
you. Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, I don't know much, nothing actually. I have to learn a lot. Thank you for the your kind words.
And Mother Sangita, she always talk about Srila Prabhupada, about the pastime of Srila Prabhupada, and she's so dedicated, to Srila Prabhupada pastime, and she remember, how we got our Krishna consciousness,
And her deities, the way she takes care of her deities,
Oh
a
yeah,
lot to
she
learn
does
there.
first class,
First class.
everything first class, whatever she offered to her deities. Thank you for reminding, yeah. First class. And it's because he has been trained by Srila Prabhupada. And she
Yeah.
And
Okay, moving on, ladies.
yes, he's been trained because he used to be
Senior,
Pujari in Los
senior devotee.
Angeles.
I think what it is how she has also made us learn that, I mean, I think now I have also learned how I must think of taking care of the deities. I'm not taking care of them the way she is, but I mean, I've understood the importance. She showed me how to sew turbans. And when we were pinning the turban, she said, "Oh, be careful. Don't, make sure you don't prick the Lordship." And also, when we were padding the turban, she said, "Put this much." And so that, the pins will not bother. That's just the consciousness with which she does and the way she has taught, I think.
Yeah, she learned that
Very, very
Krishna is not
grateful.
different. Krishna
Yes,
deities is not different
yes,
from
yes,
Krishna.
yes.
That's why I've been trained like that, We don't see Krishna just an idol.
Yeah,
Deities of Krishna, they're Krishna himself in the form of the Arya Vigraha. Yeah. All these senior devotees, they have the best training, for how to take
Yeah.
care of the deities, And that's why, it's good, like Donacharya Prabhu, it's trying to go, to have this seminar with, so that we can learn. And a lot of devotee, they don't know anything about deity, how to take care of the deity. They just go on the altar and they address the deities and they don't follow so many rules and regulations, and there's a lot of seva apart.
The seminar, I agree. This seminar is a wonderful opportunity for everyone. I was trained in deity worship in 1973 by
Wow.
Jayatirtha and his
Mhm.
wife Manjawali, who, Jayatirtha was trained by Prabhupada, so I couldn't have gotten much closer to Prabhupada. And still I feel like I'm taking this seminar to learn it's got to be so updated since 73. So, I feel honored to be offered an opportunity to take the seminar. It's not, I don't feel like, well, I know everything because I was there at the beginning in Los Angeles. That's that's just false ego. I don't, I don't I don't know the latest, and my being disabled the way I am, I don't know if I'm going to go back to doing Pujari work at the temple, but just for my Krishna Balaram Shilas and Prabhupada deity at home, I want to be updated, just to raise the standard in my own home. So I think there's room for every type of situation in the community for people to take this course. It's really a wonderful opportunity that Drone has given us.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and we're only
Yeah,
one class
I'm
into
seeing
it.
that a lot of the new pujaris, they don't even know the basic etiquette, the basic mean of cleanliness and everything, they're doing service.
Yeah, I agree.
Like when we were when we were trained, I remember, yeah, I was an ex-disciple of Jatita, like you said.
Yeah. And he
Yeah,
was known,
and
Prabhupada considered him the expert in deity worship around the
yeah,
world.
you're
Yeah.
right. I was
Yeah.
an ex-disciple of him, in
Uh-huh.
1980s, in the 80s,
Yeah.
you know.
He
Then
was he
I
was
I
very
got
expert.
I got very good training, fortunately, and plus after him, he was Bhagavan. He was also very strict about daily worship
Yes, very much
because they
so.
all like got training from Srila Prabhupada. So we were very fortunate, and there's a nice disciple of Prabhupada, like his name is Sriniketan.
Hmm.
He
Yeah.
also taught us, in Mauritius. He stayed there for, since I joined, he's still there. There's a
Yeah.
pillar of
Yeah.
the movement in there.
Right.
And I got so good training from him. I feel very, very fortunate.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And you're taking the seminar. So I think there's room for everybody to take it. And then Philadelphia can really have a very high standard in our deity worship.
It's very, very important.
It's so important. Prabhupada said the ISKCON movement runs on 2 tracks, on Sankirtan and deity worship. And he had specific rules for the deity worship. I remember one time in Los Angeles in the old temple room, we were 3 seconds late opening the doors at 7:30 to greet the deities. And Jayatirtha was knocking on the altar doors from the temple room. Like, where are you? It's 3 seconds late, literally. So Prabhupada said it, deity worship is about cleanliness and punctuality. And I took that very seriously. So 3 seconds late, we're on the altar hearing his knocking.
Yeah.
It was really
Punctuality is this why I in North Carolina also, Bhikkhu Shamara, to make sure that we're not even 1 second, like 3 seconds, you said we're not even 1 second late in opening the curtain, in doing the offering and everything. From there, we had to check our watch. One day, we're a little bit at 2 seconds, we're doing something before offering. Then he's coming, why, opening the curtain now, for greeting.
Yeah, I remember.
All the senior disciples, Srila Prabhupada, and people have been, for many years, they got very good training. We were the first batch of devotees that got, the second generation that got trained by Srila Prabhupada disciple. So we were very, very fortunate also. I feel like that.
Yeah, that's nice. So anybody that's listening, if you haven't signed up yet for the seminar, please talk to Dronacharya Prabhu and see if it's still possible for you to attend the seminar, because we've only done 1 day, so we've got plenty more to go. So please consider it, okay? Even just to take care of your home deities, it's well worth it. It's only 2 hours very early on Saturday morning on Zoom. So I think it's a great opportunity for all of us. Okay, sorry to keep you.
It's one of the important, there's 5 saying, worshipping Tulsi, worshipping the deities, chanting the holy name, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, association of devotees. These are very, very important. These 5, pieces for us to advance in Krishna consciousness. Like you say, Jiva Goswami, Rupa Goswami, everybody, recommended that we engage in this 5 process of devotional service.
Yeah, thank you for repeating that. That's very essential to know that. Thank you. Thank you for a great class.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Mother Sangita, to have your association. Thank you. Thank you for encouraging. I know you're very strict. I know you're very good at the deities and everything. It's good for you. Just I wish you can train the younger, some of the people who are doing deity worship at the temple.
Yeah, well, Krishna's mercy that we can all get an opportunity to at least offer an artik once a week. I mean, they're so short on pujaris. If the householders could all pitch in, that would be great. That's how a lot of temples are run, by the mercy of the grahastas that come once a week and do that. That's so important.
That's Grihastha is supposed to help with the deity worship.
Yes.
That's why they say Grihastha, The sannyasis they're not meant to go out and preach Krishna consciousness,
Yep. And then the grahastas that live, in around the temple, or even, within a short distance, can come and help with the deity worship. That was the idea. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. None of us could wait to get Brahmin. In those days, you get Brahmin like 6 months after your first initiation, which was 6 months after you joined. Everything was so fast in those days because they needed Brahmin people.
I remember I was in Nairobi, I was doing service there, and there was short of pujaris there, and I had first initiation.
Yeah.
Because it was so short of pujari, I was put on the altar before second initiation. And the deities of Radha, Banki Bihari, installed by Srila Prabhupada.
Wow.
Then after Bhagavan came and gave me second initiation.
Oh, that is great. That's a great story.
Yeah. I'm
That
just.
that
I
happens
think.
these
I
days.
think in my Krishna consciousness path, I've always been doing deity worship from the
Yeah,
beginning. Even I told you before I get the initiation.
yeah,
Whatever temple I go, I always somehow or other, even once a week, I will engage in some kind of devotions, deity worship.
yeah. Thank goodness, because you're really good at it. That you're an expert at
Yeah, then I got opportunity to do more in North Carolina.
yeah,
So
a lot.
yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for everything.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for sharing experience. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna. Pancha kalpatarubhyo kripa sinibhya vacha patitanam pavanibhyo vaisnavyo namaha.
Have a